Hi there, welcome to I Alone Play Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Aquarius energy, some are more worldly focused Aquarius, some are more shadowy Aquarius energy. You know, we all got lessons to learn in life, and some people have learned some more lessons than other people about getting out of their ego or their self-centered nature or their immature nature, indulgent nature, prideful nature, bossy nature, lazy nature. You know, so we all tap into Aquarius energy because we all have a dream. We have our idea of the dream relationship, the dream job, the dream life. Some people think it should be all about the world, all about ego and image and money, looking like a shining star in the world. Some people think it should be all about them and people should indulge them in these kind of more immature or shadowy ways of being, just like we could have done when we were more young and more immature. And some people have freed themselves and learned those lessons, and they're moving forward in a more high vibrational, mature, insightful, from looking at life from a higher perspective, having hope and faith and belief in love. Some people gave up on love a long time ago. They're not going to do it. They get hurt. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life and where they're at in the story, based on what drives and motivates you, what your dreams are, and the truth sets us free. Overarching reason for the reading is trust. And it's interesting in this card because it shows like two people hugging, and it's like in our worldly nature can be represented by the masculine figures in tarot, and the feminine figures can represent how we think and feel. And as we go through life and we learn these lessons in life, we detach from one way of viewing life to like give birth to a new us emotionally and how we think and how we feel. And some people are like, nope, not going to do it. And they're going to try to keep living life the way they've been living it, which is their free will choice. And other people are going to listen to their intuition and they're going to go with the flow of life. It's time for me to let go of an old way of viewing life. If I used to belittle and berate myself, I need to quit belittling and berating myself. If I had these fears and insecurities that kept me from believing in my dreams, I need to let go of aligning with that thought process and align with having a more hopeful, believing thought process. So everybody's going to move forward trusting that the way they're going about things is the right way. And we're all going to learn lessons along the way. And some people might be going out to extremes. It might be completely opposite. And I do think that in life we kind of go out to extremes to learn lessons. We can let our heart run our life and we kind of go off over the cliff. Oh, but I love them. And the other aspects of our life, you know, because in tarot we have the four suits, the heart, the mind, the worldly nature, the creative, passionate, inspired nature. And sometimes we let 1, 2, or 3 out of the 4 aspects of ourselves run our life. And, you know, the other ones are like diminished, like they don't matter. I can live without that, even though all 4 of the elements are important. But we have lessons to learn in life. Some people are going to go out on an extreme edge to learn lessons in life. And other people could think that the people who are moving forward in hope and faith and belief, that they're like crazy and going off on extremes. And I kind of look at the extremes card because it shows a person, looks like probably in a bedroom and their back is bare. And it is a masculine figure taking action. The masculine figures can represent taking action, whether you're male or female. When we take action in the world and how we present ourselves in the world is considered masculine energy, because people don't know the truth of how we think and feel, which can be represented by the feminine figures. But it kind of, because of extremes, it kind of makes me think the devil card. Some people are going to keep trusting the devil can represent our more worldly, egoic nature. Sure, these things of the world that I go indulge in, or these ways of living life, this is the way to live life, this is going to make me happy. And some people are going to go learn some hard lessons living life that way. Some other people are willing to face their fears and to give birth to something new. The other people might want to give birth to something new, but what they maybe don't realize, they're going to repeat the same old pattern, because the truth sets us free. We have to learn the lessons we're meant to learn at one phase of life before we can authentically go to the next phase of life. We can try to create an illusion. We can try to confuse people about the truth. That's what the devil does, right? We can have illusions about ourselves. I'm ready to go to that next stage of life. Yep, I've healed, I've grown, I'm matured. I got the talent, skills, and resources. I can go to that next phase of life. And then they might find out that they don't, so sometimes in our ego, we can be a little full of ourselves. So that's kind of the overarching reason. Whatever people trust in, if it's themselves, nope, I know best. I'm not going to listen to my intuition, even though our intuition, which is also what this card can talk about, I'm either caught up in the illusion and I'm not seeing things clearly, or I am listening to my intuition. And some people have some lessons to learn, and because they haven't been willing to see the truth, they're going to be drawn and attracted to some things in the world, trying to get them to see the truth. Sometimes people think, no, I'm the boss. I don't have to heal or grow or mature myself. I can ignore my intuition. I can keep living life like this. And I don't think it's quite going to turn out the way they think. And it could be things that really, the devil's about getting a hold on you, where it can kind of keep you trapped and imprisoned. And some people don't realize that they're going into something that they thought they'd give birth to something new emotionally or something in their life. But because there's something they haven't wanted to deal with, that they're not seeing clearly, they're going to come into some contact with some people that are really going to tempt them to think that this way that they're living their life is living the dream. But there's going to be something toxic and unhealthy about it. And then they're going to really have to struggle to give birth to get themselves out of it, basically. Is this what I wanted? I thought this was what I wanted, but something about it might seem kind of out of balance or toxic or unhealthy. Other people have already been there, and now they're just facing their fears about creating something new. It's kind of part of the process. We initially get into something, we can get out of something, but then we still, within ourselves, have to face our own fears about really giving birth to that something new. So it's step 1, then step 2, and then step 3, we have created maybe that new thing, and it requires us to face our own fears about giving birth to something new. So what's going on in Aquarius energy? We have the Purity card and the Nourishment card. And, we can all be naive and gullible is kind of maybe what the Purity card can talk about. And we all want, this abundance in our world, kind of the moon watering the world. There's these things in the world that we want, and these things in our life that we're trying to manifest. Some people have seen the truth. The reason for the reading is the Peace card, which I kind of view as like a justice card. We all have our ideas of what we think is just and fair. Some of us are still kind of naive and gullible, is how I would view the Purity card. And we got some lessons to learn in life, and it is all for our good benefit, trying to get us to see the truth about getting more balance within ourselves, learning to love ourselves, learn how to water our own world and give ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness so that we can heal and get balance within ourselves. But if we're looking to the world, because I kind of look at the Nourishment card as like a 9 of Pentacles or a Knight of Pentacles energy, if we keep not seeing the truth that we're meant to love ourselves, to get balance within ourselves, shadowy energy can be us in our more codependent energy, and we're looking outside of ourselves for things to be the answer to our problems, which could be drugs or booze or gambling, but it can also just be getting in a relationship. No, I'm sure if I get in a relationship, that's the answer. That will get me the justice I deserve. But we can get in those relationships being in that energy, but we kind of reap what we sow based on the level of maturity that we're at, and growing and healing and maturing to do. We might kind of get in relationships with some people who might be on the same page as us, and we come into contact with all these different people to find out, to get clear about our truth. And the justice card is about, like, our truth. I thought this is what I wanted. I thought this would make me happy. Wait a minute, is this making me happy? Is this my truth? And then we kind of have to, initially when we get in it, we probably think it's just and fair. So then we have the self-reflection and the path, which I look at the path card as kind of like Aquarius energy. And the reason it came out is because of the darkness. When we have lessons to learn, there's some things hidden in the dark, even in our subconscious. Past pain and heartbreak that we may be, and wounding, self-wounding beliefs, kind of all those things we kind of might like. We cannot realize how much they affect us, and so they're kind of hidden in the dark, in the subconscious. And when we get into these new jobs, new friendships, new romantic relationships, hopefully while we're in those, hopefully we do some of this inner work within ourselves to think about what our dreams and aspirations are, and to heal and grow, and hopefully look at some of those things that we hadn't dealt with in the past, to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams. Oh, let's see, I think it was over here with these cards. We had 3 cards that weren't showing themselves. We'll kind of come back to those in a minute. But then we have the beauty card. Hopefully we come to appreciate, this is a flower, but you can see in the picture that it looks like a woman, which again, the women's can just represent our more emotionally intuitive, creative nature, with the lips and the nose and the eye and the eyebrow there. Hopefully we come to appreciate, in our more egoic nature, represented by the masculines, we do have our worldly nature, and we can all get caught up in the world, and we can want all these things of the world, and the world can try to tell us what defines our worth and value, what we wear, what we drive, how much money we have, but we're so much more than that. And that's kind of like the hidden magical realm of human beings. We're not just an animal, even though we're in the animal kingdom. We might be smart, we might be intelligent, where it almost seems like maybe we're a computer, an animated computer, but we're so much more than that. We were given the spark of life and creativity and imagination and the capacity to love. And that's what truly is the hidden realm about human beings. But sometimes we can, shadowy Aquarius is kind of where you're full of yourself, and anybody, regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are, in their Aquarius energy, they could be all about themselves, and the only person they trust is themselves. And they are not going to detach from their more egoic self-interest view of life. I might want to get in relationships with people. I might want to have some of those things that other people have in the world to make it look like I have those things of the world, but they still could be more about themselves, and they really don't trust. We could also look at the extreme cards as like fire energy, our creative, inspired, fiery nature, We can all let our heart run our life. We can all let our mind run our life, our defensive nature or whatever, our logic and reason. We can let the things of the world and the things of the world that we want to indulge in or invest in our jobs and all those things run our life. But I don't know, I'm starting to think that fire energy, harnessing our fire nature in a high vibe way might be the hardest thing, and part of that is being inspired to connect in with this more intuitive, creative realm that kind of is in the invisible realm in a way, and our own unique talents, skills, and creativity and imagination to realize that we can give birth to new things. Because we're either repeating an old pattern or we learn lessons having lived life at a phase of life and then we give birth to something new. And just like back in the day, human beings were cave people. Well, people listened to their intuition and their imagination and their creativity, and they looked at how they were living life and said, there's a lot of good things I like about this way of life, but I kind of have this idea that if we were to kind of do things a little bit different, and my intuition and my creativity and my imagination is telling me that, I think if we kind of added this to it, or if I worked with this or created this, I think it would help things move forward in maybe some way that we would enjoy better, So, as time went by since caveman days, we have indoor plumbing, indoor lighting, we have airplanes, we have heart surgery, we have cell phones, It's because some people were willing to, in high vibe Aquarius energy, step outside of societal norms, to believe in themselves, to believe in their dreams, to listen to their intuition, that I think, and you have to be willing to make mistakes, so you have to get out of your more egoic nature. Life's about learning lessons and making mistakes. How many times did it take for them to make a light bulb? And how many times did they fail, but they didn't give up? And if people wouldn't have done that since the time of caveman people, we'd still be cave people today. But there's always going to be people in the world that, and we, at different stages of our life, are more comfortable staying in our comfort zone. And I think it takes learning lessons to be willing to be more authentically yourself, to kind of detach and overcome some of the things that manipulate you, to be more high vibe energies about being more independent and free of those things that manipulate you. And for some people who aren't ready to move forward in life differently, they could think, wow, how are those people doing that? Why aren't they making their life more about those things of the world, or their fear, or their codependency, or indulging them things in these certain things of the world to make them happy? They are just really different, But it's sometimes the people that are really different that create these new things in the world, or willing to live their authentic life and pursue the things that really bring them joy and happiness, and their creative, inspired nature aligned with their truth, than people who might be trying to conform more to the world. Well, no, I can't go do the field job career I'd really like. I don't know that I make enough money, and so I'm going to stay in something that by worldly standards kind of looks like I got it going on. But it could be them not being willing to give birth to anything new. I don't want to let my more emotionally creative, inspired, intuitive, loving nature out in the world to play. I'm going to keep letting my ego and my defensive nature run my life. And they're going to watch some people give birth to something new. Well, some other people play it safe. Let's go look back here. And we're all ready to do that at different times in our life. High vibe energy also, an Aquarius energy is like shining your authentic light in the world. And I think I read an article that Aquarius energy, there's less people born under an Aquarius sun sign than the other zodiac signs. And, Aquarius energy are people who definitely are unique and different because which anybody can harness that energy because they do think differently. They do look at life from a different perspective than, you know, maybe some of the water signs or the air sign. Well, I guess Aquarius is an air sign, but the people more with more water in their chart or pentacles in their chart or fire in their chart. You know, it's kind of like these big thinkers in the world. Anyway, let's go look at these three cards. So the way I interpret this is sometimes we can get in jobs and relationships with people and we think, oh my gosh, this is going to work out the way I want. And, you know, we can have a lot of commonality, a lot of similarities. But we could, because I think we tend to think other people think like us to a degree, like, oh, if this were to happen, I'm sure they'd do this because that's what I would do. And I'm sure they would feel this way because that's how I would feel. But we could find out that we harness these energies differently with some people. Some of the people we are on the same page with, but we can have a lot of commonality with people. Similarities, you know, went to the same school, live in the same community, of the same, say, religious denomination, in the same career field, both like certain hobbies or activities, but we still can harness these energies differently. And one person could harness these energies in a more high vibrational way, and some other people in our life could harness them in a more worldly, shadowy way. And that's where further down in the relationship, you know, we thought we were in a relationship with someone who maybe viewed life the way we viewed it, because we tend to like to hang out with people who are like ourselves in a lot of ways. But then we could realize that we kind of have different end goals, or the dream life, how we view the dream relationship, how we treat each other in relationships. They have their idea of what's the dream way to treat people in a relationship that works for them, and high vibe people would think it's about truth and love and justice and fairness, you know? And that's when we can realize that there are these things kind of that we weren't aware of about each other even. You know, they thought you thought like they thought, and you thought they thought like you thought. So let's go see what these cards are. Realization, assessing, and fruition. So I kind of view this card as kind of having a dream. And the assessing card can kind of be in our philosophy of life, of how we expected things to move forward. And we could have had a lot of the same end goal idea. We both could have been willing to put in work and effort to try to bring that end goal. But how to get it to manifest, and how we maybe wanted to exist within it in the fruition card. So I kind of have looked at the fruition card as kind of like a Virgo energy again. What is our long-term goal? What is it that drives and motivates us? What's our truth? And that's we can end up realizing that how we thought we were going to get there and what we thought it was going to look like was different. Because in our Aquarius, maybe Virgo energy, one person could have thought it is more about living maybe more from your mind than your heart, with the mask on, emotionally, because that looks like a feminine figure to me. A little bit more about living more from your mind than your heart, and doing maybe what's practical and logical, and wanting Virgos represented by the Knight of Pentacles, wanting to become the King of Pentacles. I thought we both wanted these things of the world. And yeah, we both might want those things of the world. People all can put in work to have stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things in life. But at the foundation of it, what do we think is just and fair and will make us feel stable and grounded within ourselves and at peace within ourselves? And some people do like to live more from their mind and their heart. And they do like to maybe keep their more emotionally authentic nature kind of in the back seat. You know, we have this dualistic nature, but only one of them can kind of be driving the vehicle of our life at any moment. One's in the driver's seat, one's kind of sitting in the back seat. And they might let their more worldly, egoic nature drive their life and the decisions that they make. And the other person might have thought, I'm okay with that, and I might live my life like that too. But as time goes by in the relationship, some people could have been, you know, part of life is that you learn lessons in life. And as we learn lessons in life, we can kind of change what kind of drives and motivates us. At age 15, the way we thought the dream life was going to be is different than what we thought the dream life was going to be at 21. You know, and it's supposed to happen throughout our life because that is the normal cycle of life. We have a certain way of viewing life at a certain stage of life. And then as time goes by and we've learned some lessons and we've grown and matured ourselves and healed in some ways and gained more confidence within ourselves or more skills in life, you know, we could start to view life differently. And what we think is just and fair and what would make us happy and how we view the end goal that we're going towards can be different over time. And we didn't realize that about each other. You know? And so then, as we go on this journey into unknown territory, is what the darkness can represent, you know, again, we get in these relationships with people. We're learning as we go more about understanding ourselves and what drives and motivates us. And are we healing and growing and maturing? You know, maybe my dreams changed over time and now I'm looking at life from a bigger picture and now I am more confident in myself as time goes by. You know, and some people want to keep moving forward into unknown territory, to keep growing to their full potential. And some people don't like that. And they want to maybe move forward with other people who keep their issues hidden in the dark because they want to keep their issues hidden in the dark. The truth sets us free. Illuminating the truth, bringing things into the light, like our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs. But some people are like, no, 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 no. I don't want to look at those things. I don't want to see the truth. I don't want to see the truth about my own shadow nature. I don't want to see the truth about some people in my life that I might align with. I don't want to see the truth that maybe they're kind of think I should live my life like them. And if they live their life a certain way, then I'm supposed to live my life a certain way. And I'm not supposed to give birth to anything new. That's unacceptable. I'm not supposed to have my own unique talent, skills, and interests and drives and motivations to give birth to my own unique life. I'm supposed to live life the way they want me to live life. And if they make their life more about the world, they want me to make my life more about the world. And so we can get in relationships with people who have these things within themselves and people in their life and the world at large that kind of, you know, you're either seeing the truth or you're wanting to stay in denial of the truth. So now the purity card is like, no, 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 I don't want to see the truth. I want to make my life about the world. That's what's just and fair. That's how I grew up. That's how people I know live their life. And I want to kind of mirror back to the world that I'm on their page. And I want these other people in my life to know that I'm aligned with them. I'm on the same page as them. I have the same dream they have. And it's kind of like staying in denial of the truth that I am my own unique self in the world. But we'd have to be willing to become independent of the illusion. Quit making our life about all these things that manipulate us and go live our authentic life. And some people are like, nope, I am trusting that the way I am living life is the right way to do it. I'm going to make my life about these things. I'm going to align with these certain people in the world. And some people got in relationships with people that are like that. And it's like, you know, shadowy energy can be things that don't grow. There's nothing new to learn there. It's like, we've done this way of living. It's like people who refuse to quit being like a 15-year-old. To shed some old ways of being, to face their fears, to go become like an 18-year-old and take on some of the responsibilities of being like an 18-year-old. And we do that throughout our life. And some people are like, no, I had this idea of how, which is fine, they can live their life that way, but I had this idea of how I wanted to live my life. And maybe once I got to be an adult and I got a job, I got in a relationship, or I got married, that was the end goal. I'm good. I think that's just and fair for me to view life that way, which it is. They can live their life whatever way they want. It's just that if they get in a relationship with someone who is like a more creative, inspired person who wants to free themselves from some of the things that manipulate them, you know, that can be a problem. And some of those people didn't know they were going to feel that way. You know, we don't know at what point in time that it's like, wow, I do kind of look at life differently. I really thought that I wanted to live my life like that too. And I guess it would just be partly their intuition calling them, saying, you know, there's more to life than just making our life about these things of the world. There's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. And part of that is just being someone who's loving and encouraging to ourselves and to others to grow to their full potential, to believe in themselves, to believe in their dreams. And sometimes that does mean, you know, we're kind of, it seems like we can be like out of rhythm of the orchestra playing by all the other people in our world. You know, we're going bong, bong, and they're like, ding, 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 ding. And it's like, you're not playing the right notes. It's like, I don't like that tune. You know, so sometimes it can just seem like we're kind of the oddball out in a way. But sometimes people who are the oddballs are the people who do have this unique creative, they're connected in with that different way of looking at life instead of just wanting maybe to even be in a relationship where maybe even, and some people could like it. I have a certain way of viewing myself. I want people to mirror that back to me. If I view myself as a loving person, you should mirror back to me that I'm a loving person. It's like, what if you're not a loving person? What if you're kind of bossy and controlling and all about yourself, or immature or prideful or egotistical? It's like, well, no, you're supposed to stay in denial of that truth. And you're not supposed to love and believe in yourself to give birth to anything new. My idea of the just and fair relationship is that you know, and it can't even be people who look to other people to validate their worth and value. And that, again, is codependent energy. I'm looking outside myself because I haven't learned to love myself. I haven't shown light kind of like within myself. Shining light within yourself is like offering yourself love and compassion and forgiveness and growing and healing and maturing yourself and appreciating your unique talent, skills, and interests and what you bring to the table. And some people have never learned that. And again, we all kind of get brought up in the world, in our society and our culture that we live in. And part of it can be all this emphasis of like, no, you don't have worth and value unless we say you have worth and value. And we make it all, which is disempowering. Oh, so if those people don't like me or those people don't think I have worth and value, then I have no fucking worth and value, really? You know, I'm not going to make my life about that. I don't. Who made those people in charge? I'm my own unique individual. I have my own unique talent, skills, and interests, and I think me and God decide if I have worth and value. And what makes me have worth and value isn't all these outside superficial things, which is what the world tries to tell us. What you wear, what you drive, how much money you have, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, that isn't what makes me valuable. What makes me valuable is I am aligned in with my life-giving nature of creativity and imagination and hope and faith and belief and love. And there's some people that could view you that way too and would like to be in a relationship with you, some of them really badly, but they're unwilling to be their authentic self in the world. Maybe it would require them to love and believe in themselves enough and have enough confidence within themselves to be their authentic self in the world. And then people can be really afraid of people judging them and they want people to view them a certain way. The whole thing is the world is judging you anyway based on the type of people they are. You could be a wonderful person. There's some crappy people in the world that gossip and insult and bitch about you anyway. You know, you could be an awful person and there's people that could be in denial that you're a crappy person and they still sing your praises. You know, it's really based on the type of people they are. And at what point are we going to free ourselves from all that bullshit and say, you know what, I'm going to go live my authentic life? And I think for the people who already got themselves out of some of those things as they were thinking about what they wanted to manifest, they could have communicated to some people in the world about the lessons that they learned, and they weren't going to settle for, I don't know, a more superficial, shallow life. And that they did look in the mirror and they did do this work within themselves to free themselves. Who wants to come with? And there definitely could be some people who want to come with, but they won't. And then there will be some people who will move forward with you in this way in your life, and other people in the world that you don't even know, that as you move forward in life looking for the people who are on the same page as you, you will come into contact with them. Because if life's about learning lessons and you learn that where you are at, no, this isn't aligned with my truth. I think this is kind of shadowy or restricting or confining or limiting or immature or something. I'm going to listen to my intuition. The divine wants you to grow to your full potential and learn these lessons in life, and the divine will help you manifest those things into reality. Because life is about learning these lessons. You need the next lesson to appear, but you have to free yourself from the past. I let people be where they're at. If they eventually come forward and want to move forward with me in this way, they will, but I'm not going to keep myself limited and restricted, like waiting for some people to do this inner work within themselves. For a while, we might extend grace to people, hoping that they'll move forward with us in this new way we're going to move forward. You know, and sometimes it's not like you're moving or anything like that. It's like, I'm just going to keep focused on what I'm trying to manifest. And I'm not going to let people who aren't moving forward with me, we can only work with the people who are putting in work and effort with us. So I'm going to work with the people who are in my life and my job and my career and my friends and my family to keep moving forward, enjoying my life and see what happens, you know. And if there's some people that aren't moving forward with me, well then, you know, if that's how they wanted to move forward, they would. And if they're not, then I maybe need to see the truth that they could be moving on that way with other people. They could be in happily loving life situations that they're focused on. Okay, I see the truth of that. Peace be with you. I'm moving on. And then some people are like, well, no, I'd only get in a relationship with you if you'll go under the container and let me, we repeat this old pattern where we can repeat a pattern that I like and we don't give birth to anything new. It's like, no, I've already been there and done that. I've already been in relationships with people where it can look great by worldly standards, but some people are afraid of being more authentically themselves, or letting their more emotionally intuitive nature out to play in the world. And I'm kind of in a relationship with their false self, their cardboard cutout person, their emotionally defensive person, or some other shadowy trait or characteristic. It's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. So, what's coming up for some people, who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming up? Okay, the High Priestess got tipped sideways and wanted to peek out of the deck, and the reason it came out is because of the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. In tarot, we have the pages, we have the knights, we have the kings and the queens, we have the emperor and the empress, and we have the high priestess and the hierophant. It's kind of about these stages of life that we go through of learning these lessons. High vibe people have seen the truth about how their own worldly egoic nature, that they learned all these lessons from their more worldly egoic nature. And they've seen the truth of it in their Aquarius energy. And instead of my truth being my more egoic nature, where I hide my more creative, inspired, authentic nature, I'm done with that. I did look at life from a higher perspective. I did listen to my intuition, and I'm standing up for my more creative, inspired, intuitive nature, whether I'm male or female. Connected in with my more emotionally intuitive nature, looking at life from a higher perspective, listening to my intuition and truth and love to guide the decisions I make. I'm no longer going to let my more worldly, emotionally, prideful, egotistical, immature, indulgent, codependent, blah, blah, blah aspect run my life anymore. There could be a lot of things I could want to go indulge in, but I've already seen the truth. Life is about learning lessons. And if I'm not listening to my intuition that has my best interest at heart, and I think I know best, it's probably not going to turn out the way I want. And I'm probably, our shadow nature at the highest energy kind of represents the devil. All these things that try to imprison us and enslave us and oppress us and confine us. It's like, nope, not doing that anymore. I'm tired of that. I'm going to listen to my intuition, and I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to encourage myself every day. I view high vibe Leo energy as being like our best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. In our more shadowy nature, a pattern we could repeat is being more codependent on other people, because we were all children and we were looking to other people in our life to love us and nurture us and make us feel better. But we're meant to take over that role within ourselves and quit being in that more codependent energy and have hope and faith and belief in our dreams and use our unique talent, skills, and interests to know how to feel stable and grounded and loved and balanced within ourselves. So then we're not getting in relationships from a more codependent energy. I treat myself in a just and fair and kind and loving and encouraging manner. And that's the environment I live in. That's how I treat other people. People aren't coming in here and being shadowy. I will show them the door. I will Listen to my intuition about people who harness this energy in a shadowy way. Shadowy Aquarius, shadowy Leo. Oh, you're kind of harsh or critical or cold or detached or about yourself and your ego and your image, or thinking it's just and fair to be more about you in some way and that you should be able to manipulate people? No. And you'll speak your truth to people like that. Well, you don't really have to speak your truth. You'll just see the truth about them. And, I don't think there's really any point. They probably know that's the type of person they are. We just kind of keep our distance from them. You're not coming over here. I am not. I'll treat everybody with respect and treat people the way I like to be treated. And if you don't treat me that way in return, yeah, it might be a little more emotionally distant relationship. I don't care to be in negative energy of being frosty or rude, but I'm definitely going to, it's more superficial and shallow. If you're not an authentic, warm, just, fair, loving, kind of supportive, encouraging person, and you're trying to be bossy or controlling or manipulative or something, no, I'll keep my distance from you. And I will save my more warm, loving nature for the people in my life who are in that energy with me. Otherwise, the Queen of Swords can be where emotionally, we do what we have to do in the world. We got to be logical and practical. We can work with all sorts of different people in the world and know all sorts of different people. But it's kind of maintaining, we got to do what we got to do in some relationships that we have in the world just to get along. But to be I don't know, I'm just not maybe going to invest that much emotionally into people that seem to be in shadowy energy, And I think as you do that, there's going to be other people that see that you are this high vibrational person, that you do look at life from a higher perspective, that you are this warm, creative, inspired person, and those people are willing to defend you and move forward with you in this way to give birth to something new, facing their fears about maybe stepping out of their comfort zone to give birth to something new or to move forward in life differently. Because they trust you. They know that you're not a manipulative, self-centered, egotistical person. And they don't feel like you're going to take advantage of them. And you're not creating an illusion that you're being authentic. And you would trust them because you view them as being authentic. And you both would be willing to speak the truth about if you thought somebody was acting kind of shadowy, What's coming up for the people who are kind of harnessing more shadowy energy that they don't see coming? The Queen of Cups in reverse and the Death in reverse. Well, actually, I picked up my deck in reverse, and so the reason for the clarifier is the Page of Cups in reverse. For some of the people that were shadowy in your life, or some of the people right now that are being kind of shadowy in some people's lives in some way, what they didn't see coming is that these people in their life who are very authentic and loving aren't willing to keep emotionally investing in them. They aren't in non-life-giving energy. If it was in the upright, they could be in non-life-giving energy would be one way to read it. And they're not willing to detach from their dreams. I'm just going to quit investing in the people who aren't motivated and inspired by the same things I am, don't have the same end goal or dream that I have, aren't acting in truth and love and justice and fairness. I'm going to let you go be in relationships with whoever you want to be in. I'm going to trust my intuition, and as people go through this process, eventually they don't even view those people the same anymore at one time they could have viewed them as a more loving person. And I think over time, they're not someone they kind of want to be friends with again or be in a romantic relationship with again. You know, they're over it completely. You know, and they're not, eventually people get to be where I'm not I'm not in my ego about it at all. You know, I did do all this work within me to look at life from a higher perspective, and I see the truth that some people aren't very loving. When the cards are in reverse, people can be very immature, unloving, emotionally shallow, superficial, bossy, controlling, intimidating. And some people, and they never thought that would happen because they did know that some of the people in their life loved them and they did want a dream to come into reality with them. But as people kind of, you know, with these cards here being in reverse, you know, at one time they could see a future with some people, and now they no longer see a future with those people because they've come to see that they just want to stay in denial of the truth. They have these ways of viewing life that they think are maybe just and fair, and other people don't think it's very just and fair. That they could be in denial, that they really should do a hard look in the mirror and maybe have some hope and faith and belief in themselves and in love, but they don't. And so some people are going to probably leave their life. Another thing they might not see coming, well, let's see, how are these cards? Yeah, this is what. There could be other people that want to be in relationship with them. And they could be, because if we have lessons to learn in life and when we're in loving, encouraging, and supportive environments, we didn't do this work within ourselves to heal and grow and mature ourselves, well, that kind of, guess who's next up to bat? You know, probably we're going to repeat some old pattern, and we're probably going to get in relationships with some people who might align with some more of those shadowy traits and characteristics that we have, that some other people could have seen the truth of, but we don't want to deal with the truth of it. So then we could go get in relationships with people again, some people trying to hide the truth, and they could get in a relationship with someone who's like them. Also not very loving, not very nurturing, doesn't like change. And they could get someone who comes into their life. It's like, oh, let's see, you had loving, supportive people in your life. You didn't want to move forward with them. Interesting. Huh. Well, that's great, because I don't want to move forward in life differently either. Oh, there's some things you don't want to reveal. There's some things you don't want to deal with. Cool. Me neither. Let's get in a relationship and make our life about putting in this work and effort to look like we have what other people have. It just won't be on being authentic or truthful or loving. It's maybe more about our ego and our image and money or materialism or our fear or our insecurity or codependency. But they might have someone, if they were someone who tried to limit and restrict and oppress people, they might have someone who comes into their life who takes advantage of the fact that they kind of have these ways of viewing life. You know, there's always bigger fish in the sea to like prey on people. And some of these people think they're so smart. Oh no, I can manipulate anybody. Oh no, you know, I can keep living this life. There's no consequences. This world is made up to be like kind of self-regulating, to try to teach us lessons. And I think some of those people will get in something that by worldly standards, it might look really great, but they're going to feel trapped. And it's all trying to get them to quit, to see the truth of it. Really? Is this what you want? Might have all these things of the world, but there's no love here. Really? You thought this would make you happy. But what makes us happy and the energy that we thrive and grow best in is love. And they could be people who seem like they have all these things of the world that they're indulging in that they think is living the dream. But there's no love there. But they might keep moving forward because sometimes, with the extremes, pride comes before the fall. Let's go look at what the extremes card could be for some people. Oh gosh, that's a lot. No, I'm going to reshuffle. What could be an example of what this extremes could be for the different people and how they could harness this energy differently? The Knight of Swords, because of the Two of Pentacles. Well, some people are ignoring their intuition and some people aren't speaking the truth. And when we know we don't act with character and integrity and we're not being truthful and honest and like just and fair and loving, I think eventually it wears on our self-esteem, and it can make us feel very out of balance. And if they're not being truthful and honest and they're not getting balanced, well, people who are more balanced within themselves are going to keep their distance from them and not wanting to maybe communicate with them and not want to work out and try to balance things out with them. But some people can be very prideful and stubborn and egotistical. I just think it's really going to maybe throw their whole life out of balance because they're not speaking the truth and taking action in truth and love, and they're acting in a very out of balance way. For the other people, well, I would say their truth is no longer juggling. Their truth is no longer more about the world. And they're really moving forward, letting truth and love and intuition guide them. And that to other people can just seem like, wow, I cannot believe they're doing that, How are they not letting their fear or their insecurity or their pride or their ego, drive the decisions that they're making? And other people just can't understand that because they haven't learned to love themselves and they're not transforming their life and they're not facing their fears and they're really staying in their comfort zone. And when we resist going with the flow of life, I think it does get kind of worse and worse and worse. The devil is kind of like addictions. Things get worse and worse and worse until we're willing to deal with the truth of it. And because some people are not willing to speak the truth and get more balance within themselves and be more balanced in their relationships, some of those people could have a lot of different people in their life that they thought would never quit supporting them or aligning with them because they're so extreme in kind of this shadowy, driven, obsessive way of kind of living their life, either only about themselves or their greed or their lust or their pride or their self-centered nature or their, I don't know. At one time, they could have seemed to, well, it can be this whole thing that I don't have to deal with these things that are hidden in the dark. I can just create this illusion about who I am. But that might have worked, more when they were younger. But as you get older, people have learned more lessons in life and they do have more life experience under their belt and they probably do listen to their intuition more. It gets harder and harder to find people who are willing to stay in a relationship with you if you're kind of more fake, superficial, and shallow. And that's kind of what these cards in extreme can mean. And it's kind of like they lose this spark within them because they've become so consumed with either these things of the world or about themselves, indulging themselves in some way. And I think they're going to have other people who aren't going to want to be in relationship with them anymore because it's all about them. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.